TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D Wood. With me now, got Giant DOC.
What's up?
Hello.
Hey, you guys were live earlier.
Yeah.
We
Guys,
were.
I caught a little bit of that, but also caught some just some messages people were sharing around and so on about all the Dawah drama, the latest Dawah drama. So you guys want to what's the short version? But for the long version, go check it out if you missed it.
Yeah, check it out. Long version. And you can also see the new studio.
We had a blast.
It was really fun. But the short version is Malik is just the mouthpiece of the snake. He's not the head of the snake.
Who's the head though?
Speaking Muslim,
And
Jake,
thank you.
the heads of the snake. So Malik said that the people who were actually feeding him this information were Speaking Muslim and Jake. He proved that Speaking Muslim did, and then Speaking Muslim actually admitted to it. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you were trying to say we only had small jobs. You said you only put us on small jobs, but I'm really the genius behind everything. Who's the one that got David? I got David. Who got AP? I got AP. Who got IP? I got IP. This guy's a lawyer, by the way.
I'm bragging about this.
And he's bragging about giving information to someone who's using it to threaten people's lives.
Mhm. And then he puts his face on there.
Yeah.
Lawyer that he is, easily traceable.
Yep.
Hopefully disbarred soon.
Huh. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a great big mess, and I think isn't Malik's planning on going live tonight or tomorrow or something like that with the to snitch on everybody?
That's what he said.
Yep.
Oh, hey, look, Reason answered here. Reasoned answers says someone about to be disbarred. That will,
Yeah.
I don't know all the details or what his explanation is going to be, but yeah, it's pretty crazy if a lawyer is using his lawyering skills to dox people and so on. I have to say, when I was talking to Speaking Muslim, he's totally nice and having a conversation. But my first impression of him was that he was he was fishing for information for Jake in a debate. Like Speaking Muslim he made a super chat to me.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
yeah,
hey,
he did do that.
Hey, I want to talk about the Islamic dilemma. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Muslim leaving a super chat. That occasionally happens with Muslims who just like don't know. But if you're a knowledgeable Muslim, you know you're not supposed to be leaving super. So it's like something's going on here. Like there's a reason there's an important enough reason that he thinks it would be okay to give money to a guy who rips the
David
Quran
would.
and so on. Yeah, he wouldn't want to fund the things that I do.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? And it was pretty obvious when he just goes down this list of questions about the Islamic dilemma that he's asking for information for Jake. And I actually responded. I was like, Jake, if you want to know my position on the Islamic dilemma, just ask me, dude. I'm not trying to like catch people off guard with the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Speaking Muslim actually took credit for all of that. He took responsibility for all of that. And he, not just Christians, by the way, he has files on Muslims as well. There's Muslims that Maloink actually showed. He showed this Muslim here. He didn't show the social security number, but he said this is a file with all his information on it, his name, family's name, social security, all that stuff, and social security number, all that stuff. And he got it from the Speaking Muslim, who is a lawyer. So that's one thing. Another thing is he went on a undercover mission to try to infiltrate people, like circles. Like he tried to do this with Chris Clausen, he tried to do it with another Christian on TikTok, and maybe some other people that we don't know about, but these are the two that were named. He was given permission by a sheikh that he's allowed to lie to Christians about having a dream about Jesus, and Jesus is being proclaimed as God in his dream. Hey, I just had this dream of Jesus and he was proclaimed as God, and I'm starting to have these doubts about Islam now. And he thought that by doing that I don't know, Chris is gonna give him like the secret, like what we must have some sort of secrets or something like that.
He wants Christians to lower their guard and give
Yeah.
out their numbers. Oh, do you want to talk? Give out their personal information. Think he's a friend.
Yeah.
who's just thinking about Jesus or seeking.
But he was given permission by a sheikh to do that. That was the crazy
And
thing.
he named the sheikh.
And he pays him $250 an hour to
For that
join him on
advice.
TikTok. No, join him on TikTok lives. So imagine this sheikh's getting paid $250 an hour to join his TikTok lives, answer all their questions. It's like a Q&A with the sheikh. And one of the things that he told them was that you're allowed to lie to... I mean, this is not news. Like, anyone who's familiar with Islamic sources knows that that's acceptable. But it's just to hear a sheikh is like openly saying you can do that.
I mean, it's Surah 3 verse 28. It's easily Googleable what it means and what it gives Muslims rights to lie to others.
Yeah.
In fact, along those lines, that's what I was thinking when he was like giving super chats and then asking questions. I was like, man, I hope you got permission from a sheikh. Like, you called him up,
He
like,
actually
hey,
does.
He did, yeah.
like, hey, hey, is it okay to give super chats to the Islamophobes and the kuffar if it's for helping this guy do better in a debate or something like that? Anyway,
he actually got that permission. It's crazy, you know.
So looks like some more dramas coming out, guys. Looks like some more dramas coming out. But
so, all the info you guys can, I mean, we say all the info, but more stuff is going to come out. But if you want to, you know, after this stream, you want to catch up on what's available right now, we covered it on our stream. But there's going to be more supposedly tonight. And I'm sure, you know, you got Thaddeus in the chat there. I'm sure he's going to be covering it as well. So
I'm sure people are going to be watching because Malik's like he's really amping it up. Like, this is my last show. I'm going to destroy everybody, and then it's my last show. You guys seen that? Like, this is the last Club Pyru show and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's never the last.
No,
he's got a track record of doing that where he like leaves. I'm leaving. I'm not coming back, and then he comes back. So this is just another one of those times. But he's got the Muslims, you know, really, really worrying about what he's going to reveal. So I guess we're gonna.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants. Yeah. So, and it's either okay, you get to be in panic mode, or you have to contact him and bribe him and try to negotiate with him and tell him, no, I'll never cross you again. No, I'll never do it.
I mean, he's got a point on one hand because he's responsible for all the Warner joke. He's responsible for everything that was supposed with the Warner, Adam, Sneeko, Muslim Lantern. So he's basically saying like, look, I got stuff on you guys too. You guys know what I have on you. So when I go and I expose it all, you know, you guys have a chance right now to kind of prevent me from doing that. And whatever I don't know, be my friend or whatever.
Here's a list of my demands.
Yeah, here's a list of my demands.
Meet them or be destroyed.
Yeah,
Isn't that blackmail?
That's what exactly what it is.
It's totally blackmail.
Exactly what it is.
But a lawyer should know that.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we're going to do two things today. We're going to the main thing we want to go through, just because lots of people asked about it, PBD's comparison of, I put Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism just because you can't put everything into a title, but he compared Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, like atheists and so on, in terms of like their impact on society and how much wealth they generate and stuff like that, what they do for societies that they, you know, and then like when they immigrate and stuff, how they impact the society and so on. And he kind of put it all together. So that's some interesting stuff. So we're going to check that out. But before we do, just because a bunch of people mentioned that Robert spoke at a congressional hearing on Islam and Sharia. We're going to go ahead and check that out because it's short. He had 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and check this out, and then we'll get into the PBD video.
Nice.
So here we go. Here's Robert Spencer speaking to Congress about Sharia. And hats off to Congress for not being stupid once in their entire existence. Here we go.
Mr. Spencer, remind you to turn your microphone on, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. The U.S. Constitution and Sharia are incompatible, and the conflict between the two legal systems will grow as Sharia adherents increase in number in the West. This fact has been obscured by misinformation about what Sharia actually is. When the city of Keller, Texas, scrapped an anti-Sharia resolution in January 2026, the Hamas-linked Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, stated that like canon law for Catholics and halakha for Orthodox Jews, Sharia refers to the rules that Muslims follow, including praying 5 times a day, fasting in Ramadan, giving in charity, and following the laws of the land in which they live. If that were really all that Sharia were about, no reasonable person would have any problem with it.
Yeah. What he's talking about now, I mean, this has been going on for years, and this was, it's just amazing that it's CAIR that it has been pushing this nonsense. But I mentioned before, Robert used to be brought in to like train people in the government on what Sharia is and on what jihad is and so on. Muslim organizations started complaining, how dare you get this Islamophobe? You need someone who's Muslim approved to teach you about jihad and Sharia. And so what happens so then you get rid of all the people who are telling you the truth about jihad and Sharia, and then you get Muslim organizations telling you, here's who's going to train your people. And of course they say, what? Oh, like what's Sharia? It's just praying 5 times a day. It's just going to the mosque. Why would anyone have a problem with this? That's what you're opposed to? That's what you're opposed to? And so they basically took over educating the entire government. And how stupid do you need to be? You've got an ideology that calls for your violent subjugation. And you say, okay, who's going to teach us and educate us about this ideology that calls for our violent subjugation? Oh, let's get people who believe in the ideology that calls for our violent subjugation to come and train us on what we're supposed to think about all this. Yeah, and so Robert there is pointing out that they were saying this. You guys weren't here, but I'm sure you're familiar with it. But it became a big thing. This may be like 10 years ago when they had the That's My Jihad campaign.
Oh, yeah.
It was everywhere. It was all over the sides of buses. It was in the subways. It was on billboards. But it was, I struggle to get my kid to school, but also get a workout before I get home to do the housework. That's my jihad. What's yours? And so they made it like jihad is just these just completely normal things that you struggle with in some sense.
Yeah, planting flowers
Yeah,
is my
like,
jihad.
because people in the desert, Muhammad's time, they went to gyms and took their kids on school runs.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was things like my jihad is building bridges with people who disagree with me. It's, my goodness, it's like embarrassingly terrible. But tons of people fell for it. But for whatever reason, now they've got Robert Spencer in there, so pretty darn cool.
Nice.
CAIR doesn't mention, however, that Sharia is inherently political, supremacist, expansionist,
absolutely,
and violent.
Yep.
Far from being the Islamophobic conspiracy theories of CAIR's imagining, these are facts that Muslim authorities on Sharia openly attest. Reliance of the Traveler, Umdat as-Salik, is a classic manual of Islamic sacred law, that is Sharia. In 1990, Dr. Taha Jabir Alawani, president of the International Institute of Islamic Thought, as well as president of the Fiqh Council of North America, stated that this Sharia manual was useful as a textbook for teaching Islamic jurisprudence. The most prestigious institution of Islamic learning in the world, Al-Azhar in Cairo, stated in 1991 that the same manual of Sharia conforms to the practice and faith of the Orthodox Sunni community. We read in this same guide to Sharia that jihad means war against non-Muslims and that it is a communal obligation upon the Muslim community. Yep. The object of this war is to establish the hegemony of Sharia over the conquered land.
Just I mean, like a point that should be so obvious to anyone with an above, 75 IQ. It's like just notice the difference. Like Robert goes in there, let me show you what Sharia is according to the most trusted manual of what Sharia is. And let's talk about that. Everyone else, no, Sharia is just praying 5 times a day. It's like, how would you not very quickly notice, actually, he's got stuff to back up what he's saying, and they're just talking. Trust me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just a Muslim, and I'm going to say whatever I want to, and you have to believe me because I'm a Muslim. versus here's a traditional scholar, here's the source, here's what he actually says, here's the quote. I mean, how do people not see the difference between the two?
I think it's because people want to believe the niceness and
Yeah.
that it's not that bad. The truth is, it is that bad.
Yeah.
And the quicker you get your head out of the sand, the better for everyone. Because if it were all just 5 times a day pray, then where did ISIS get their Sharia from? Why don't they all peacefully pray 5 times a day and take their kids to school and go to the gym?
Oh yeah, speaking about ISIS, I just saw Tommy Robinson. He's now
Oh,
left. He now left the UK.
Any clue on where he's going?
He didn't say.
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Yeah, so I mean, because ISIS has him on a priority hit list, and so the smart thing to do is to get out of the UK immediately. Imagine he's in the UK, get out of the UK immediately.
And
when
he's a
on-
national hero.
Yeah.
The UK can't even protect their national heroes.
No.
They have to flee while they're alive.
So yeah. Speaking of ISIS, that's what ISIS is doing right now.
Yeah, I wonder where CAIR was. Shouldn't they be educating these guys? Shouldn't they be telling these guys what Sharia really is, and that they shouldn't be a? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like they're wanting to educate the American Congress on this is what the Sharia is and this is what Islam is, and they're saying don't believe Robert. This is all Islamophobic. Don't you think, like David said, don't you think you should be going to Africa and Middle East and just educating these groups that are actually saying that this is part of your religion? Tell them that it's not part of their religion. Start with them.
Go to the Sharia councils in the Gulf, in Saudi and Indonesia that do public hangings and lashings in public squares, fulfillment of Sharia legal rulings.
Yeah.
And tell them not to do that.
Yeah, start there.
Start there, because that's where it happens.
Yeah, that's normally when I'm because when someone says something, you don't know if they're sincere or not sincere, right? And in Islam, you have Muslims who believe that Islam is a religion of peace. You have Muslims who don't believe that Islam is a religion of peace. They understand that Islam calls for the violent subjugation of the world. But among Muslims who know that Islam calls for the violent subjugation of the world, you have those who will admit it and those who will lie about it in order to deceive people. And so the idea is when you have someone, a Muslim, telling you, no, Islam's a religion of peace and tolerance. It's like, okay, you may actually believe that, or you may not actually believe that. You may be trying to deceive me. How do you tell the difference? So normally the first thing I'm looking for is, who are you targeting with this?
Yeah.
Because if you really believe that Islam is a religion of peace and tolerance, your main target should be the people who are calling for violence in the name of Islam. That you should be losing your mind over that. How dare they be saying this about my peaceful, wonderful, tolerant religion? That's who you should be going after. You shouldn't be going after people who are reacting to the calls for violence. But what you normally see, especially with organizations like CAIR, they don't say anything. They don't say anything to jihadis, to people calling for the execution of apostates. They don't say anything to those guys. It's all people who react to it and trying to silence us. And it's like, all right, I do not trust you guys at all. There are some Muslims, there are Muslims I trust in terms of I believe that they're sincere in what they're saying. There are groups like CAIR where I don't trust anything you say, not a word.
Yeah, it's like going back to the clips that we were playing earlier. These Muslims were talking about that as Muslims, they need to have hatred in their heart. Actually, for David Wood, that's they're using him as an example, and they're saying in private, Jake tells us that he actually does hate David Wood in his heart. He actually says it to us in private. And they're saying though but that's not enough in Islam to just say you hate someone in your heart. You need to have actions that align with that. And so someone was like, oh, so you're saying you need to attack him or something? He's like, no, you don't need to do that, but you need to have other, things in your life they align with the hatred you have in your heart. So there is a hatred that you must have in your heart in Islam for other people, like David Wood, for example. That's what the example was.
There are concepts in Islam called the love. You love for the sake of Allah and you hate for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
And all these believers, you have to hate them for the sake of Allah. And they are theological concepts. They're there, and people talk about them.
Yeah.
So
we should get those Muslims educating the Congress right there, because they were telling people like this is what Jake should be doing. Jake should be doing this. Jake should be doing that. Because they weren't happy that he debated you. And the other thing amongst other things.
For CAIR, all CAIR needs is one sheikh to tell them you're allowed to lie and deceive while you're in the land of the kafirs. We heard that from Muslims today. Surah 3 verse 28. You're allowed to lie and deceive to infiltrate and get the upper hand.
So you get all these different faces of Islam. You get all these different faces of Islam.
But the last thing you
And,
want is one
yeah.
of these faces to trick you. You want someone on the outside, like Robert Spencer, who studied it, who
Yeah.
knows it, or someone who's lived it to tell you.
Yeah. So, the general idea here is, like, suppose some Christian group rose up right now and said, "We are commanded to slaughter all non-Christians in the name of Jesus." I would be way more concerned about those guys who are saying that than about people reacting to it and saying, "Whoa, this is dangerous," right?
Yeah.
Like if a group of people rose up and said, "We're the true followers of Jesus and we have to kill all non-Christians," or something like that, and then all you saw me doing was trying to silence anyone who criticizes it,
Right.
I think you'd have good grounds for thinking maybe David agrees with these guys,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. But it's you have tons of jihadis trying to subjugate the world, and then you've got all these organizations trying to silence anyone who tries to expose it. And it's like, it really looks like you guys are two sides of the same coin here. You guys are just working together in all of this. That's what it looks like. And so cool that Robert's in here. Let's see.
For non-Muslims, this means an institutionalized, highly codified second-class status that denies them basic rights. Non-Muslims living under Sharia must pay the non-Muslim poll tax, Jizya, that is specified in the Quran, verse 929. This religion-based tax is designed to indicate, as the renowned Islamic scholar Ibn Qatar explained, that the non-Muslims who are paying it are disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. The non-Muslims in this state of disgrace and humiliation.
You know what's cool too? Notice, unlike the "Trust Me, Bro," Robert's giving references.
Yeah, Ibn Kathir.
Yeah.
929.
He goes 929, and it says, and Ibn Kathir's commentary. Guess what? Anyone who's watching right now can go look up Surah 929 and see what it says.
Yeah.
And then anyone can go to look up Ibn Kathir right now and see what it says.
Yeah.
Catch him lying, guys. Catch him lying. He's not. He's telling the truth, and he's giving you the sources.
Reliance of the Traveler, too, he quoted.
Yeah.
In this state of disgrace and humiliation are not allowed to build new houses of worship or repair old ones, so their communities are in a perpetual state of decline. They are forbidden to make any public display of their religion. They're relegated to the most menial jobs in society, for they are forbidden to hold authority over Muslims. If they say anything critical about Islam, Muhammad, or the Quran, they're liable to be put to death. From all this, it is clear that Sharia is not simply Muslim personal religious law. On the contrary, Sharia-based legal and civic institutions are contrary to America's founding principles and violate federal law and the Constitution in numerous particulars. The death penalty for mentioning what Reliance of the Traveler terms as something impermissible about Allah, the Prophet, or Islam, that is blasphemy, is directly at variance with First Amendment freedom of speech protections. The Islamic imperative to establish the hegemony of Sharia as the law of the land, as in today in the Islamic Republic of Iran, Afghanistan, and elsewhere,
Let's pause that for
is
a second.
obvious.
I just wanted to, I thought of this example when he said that there are Islamic laws, Islamic rulings that if you say that Muhammad was black, you're to be put to death. Or if you say that he was short, or you say he was, like, they consider these things insults.
Death sentence.
So, yeah, death sentences. So, yeah.
That's in Kitab al-Shifa, the Book of Shifa, the first one.
Yep.
And some jurisprudence of the Maliki school of thought.
Yep. So that calling Muhammad black, death sentence under Sharia.
At variance with the First Amendment principle.
What's the penalty for calling him white? Nothing.
Right.
Because that's all over the Hindi.
Exactly.
You get a kiss on the forehead.
You get a star and a good job, buddy.
Good job.
You get a pat on the back.
Good job.
Of non-establishment of a religion. Even in its personal aspects, Sharia does contradict U.S. law. The Quran states that a man should beat.
Hey, that's interesting. So he pointed out that Sharia is not just this personal thing for Muslims. It's this system that is supposed to take over the government and dominate every aspect of society. But then he says, but even if you just focus on the personal aspects of Islam, in other words, the things that aren't about, non-Muslims and so on, just like how a Muslim is living with his family, it still doesn't line up. Let me back this up. So that's good.
elsewhere is obviously at variance with the First Amendment principle of non-establishment of a religion. Even in its personal aspects, Sharia does contradict U.S. law. The Quran states that a man should beat a woman from whom he fears disobedience. That's chapter 4, verse 34. Domestic violence is a crime in U.S. law, but it is not a crime under Sharia. And we have the example of what happened in Britain. Britain began establishing Sharia courts several years ago with the understanding that cases that came under the purview of British criminal law would be referred to the British criminal courts. Instead, the Muslim Arbitration Tribunal on its website urged the Crown Prosecution Service to reconsider bringing criminal charges against Muslim men who'd been accused of domestic violence.
Wow.
And as this is in the Quran, the same thing would happen here. As Sharia is considered divine law, those Muslims who adhere to it always consider that it takes precedence over the laws of the land. Moreover, emigration to a new land to bring Sharia to it is also an Islamic imperative. The Quran in chapter 4, verse 100 promises a reward from Allah to those who emigrate for the sake of Allah, which means for the purpose of bringing Sharia to a non-Muslim land. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Appreciate your testimony.
I think that's about as well as you can do if all you have is 5 minutes to give a presentation there.
Yeah.
So
Great job.
yeah, so I mean, he's speaking to the government here, and hey, all the people who are telling you that Sharia is just this, they're lying, and I can prove it. Here, I'll quote their sources. It's something much bigger than just this personal thing, but even on the personal, even on the interpersonal Muslim relations and so on, still doesn't line up. It's still, there are things under Sharia that you would be allowed to do in your family that would be illegal under U.S. law. And so if you're thinking about having this dual legal system where we have Sharia courts, and you think, oh, okay, well, we'll just get everyone to agree that if it's an actual criminal issue, that they have to hand it over to the U.S. government. But if it's just personal matters and so on, then they can deal with that in their Sharia courts. That's what they did in the UK. And what happened? The Muslims started insisting, hey, UK government, don't deal with the domestic stuff. Don't deal with the domestic violence stuff. Let us handle that stuff. So
Wow. It reminds you of the case with Mohammed Hijab's hotel wife, Aisha. They wanted her to sign a non-disclosure, what is it called? An NDA, non-disclosure agreement on the situation that she was in. So imagine that, where you're going into these Islamic courts and you have real issues that need to be addressed, and some of these things may be crimes in the country you're in, but you're signing an NDA. I don't know how those hold up in court when it's like there's a conflict there, but they're intimidating people to not go to the British authorities if you're in the UK, for example, but to stick with them. And if you don't want to stick with them, then okay, don't go to them at all. But if you do stick with them, you need to sign on the dotted lines. And
it's the level of stupidity from governments is just insane. I mean, you'd expect some degree of common sense and some connection with reality. And like with Islam, hang on, let me check real quick. With Islam in particular, there have been, since the 9/11 attacks, 48,944 deadly Islamic terrorist attacks that have resulted in at least one death. 48,944 attacks since 9/11. And it's like, what does it take to get people to realize maybe I shouldn't be listening to this Muslim organization who's telling me Islam's all peaceful and tolerant and that anyone who disagrees is an Islamophobe? Maybe the government itself, or at least some group in the government, really needs to just go through all this stuff. I mean, it's not like it's impossible. It's like you've got all the books right there. There's all the books. There's the Quran. There's the Hadith. There's this manual of Sharia. Why don't you guys go through this and check out what it says so you actually have some clue what you're talking about? It's like, no, that would be Islamophobic, we've been told. Bunch of idiots.
If they're too lazy to read it, have Robert Spencer or someone like him to tell you who's spent his life studying it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that'd be Islamophobic. to listen to
Yeah,
Robert
that's
Spencer.
what they do. Don't
Yeah.
look into it. Like if you look into it for yourself, then you're an Islamophobe. If you
Yeah.
let us tell you what it believes, oh, and who are you? We're the guys trying to silence you to pave the way for the people who are coming in to subjugate you. It's like
and
insane.
there are parallels there too with how Muslims treat their own. Like when you have a Muslim who's like doubting Islam or something like that, or he's like looking at things or whatever, he's questioning. They tell him the same thing. Don't stop reading. Come to us. Let us do the let's do the understanding for you. You come to us. You trust us.
Mhm.
When you have a question, let us deal with the doubt for you. Like that's how they are with their own community as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
matter of fact, yeah, like as the parallel, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, let us tell you. So I mean, if you're talking about like the government, it's
Yeah,
hey, U.S. government, hey, all Western governments, media personnel, educators, everyone, don't listen to anyone who says something different from what you're telling us. They're evil people. We're the only ones that you can trust. And so let us tell you what we want you to think while we cover for those people who are actually trying to subjugate you. But yes, I mean, think about like Sneeko. So it's the same methodology with like winning reverts and stuff for people who are, as you were pointing out, people who are doubting.
Yeah.
Look what happened when Sneeko showed up to Speaker's Corner, and he's saying,
Oh,
he's saying there's one Quran. And Chris is like, you saying there's one Quran? What do you do with all these different? What are you doing with all these different Kirat and so on? They have different Qurans in different parts of the world, and the Warner.
Of all people.
Yeah, standing behind Sneeko, pretty creepy. You don't want that dude behind you. But the Warner standing right there jumps in. No, those are just different dialects. Total lie, right? Chris points out they're not different dialects. They're not. And Chris starts breaking it down. And the Warner he turns to Sneeko and goes, who are you going to believe? Me, a Muslim, or a non-Muslim?
Yep.
And it's like, wait, the Muslim is flat out lying to you.
Yeah.
The Christian is telling you the truth. But they're just setting it up so you're bad if you listen to the Christian who's telling you the truth. You're good if you're listening to your fellow Muslim who's lying to you. But it's the same thing. It's like believe our lies and not the people who are exposing our lies. And it's like you guys got a sick evil ideology here.
Yes. Really bad.
Well, they have to ask themselves, has it worked? Has it worked for the West to listen to Muslims who lie to them about what Islam really is? They keep saying peace, and then every day there's a bomb blowing off, or a terrorist attack, or someone being stabbed on a bridge, or some guy running through a crowd of people in a Christmas market with a van. Every time, has it worked that you believe them? So if reality is always showing you something different, you keep trying to come at it the same, or let's bring more Muslims in to tell us what it is so we can solve this. And there are others who are saying, like Robert Spencer and others, we have evidence to the contrary. Or just look at Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Are they bastions of peace and harmony and domestic harmony? Are they? Have you seen how Afghanistan treats their women? How Saudi treats their women?
Speaking of these countries, we're actually going to see some of the real world impact of Islam and Sharia on these countries. We're going to check that out here in a few once we go through the PBD. We'll take these super chats and then check out the PBD video. Hello, everybody. Hey, Ida. Hello, everybody. Giant DOC, you got yourself studio based.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that's double based. That's studio sandwiched in between two bastes.
One base for you, one base for me.
Base studio.
Base squared.
And then, oh, hey, David. Hey.
Oh, hey, David.
Hey, Ida. Yeah, don't worry. My studio's about to be double based too. Gonna have all, and then we got the podcasting one that we're about to say. Yeah, guys, we have it was set up for 2 people. Now they're going to modify it for 3 people, but we have more of a podcasting set where it's but this is in an actual studio and stuff. But yeah, so we should be pulling the trigger on that one here pretty soon and getting out some awesome stuff there. Ostation says on TikTok, who's SM? Oh, speaking Muslim.
Oh, are they getting started already?
Oh man, we're missing it.
Wait, what's this? On TikTok, Speaking Muslim went live that night with Jake and was telling Danny. Who's Danny? Daniel?
There's a couple. So
there's a couple Dannys.
There's a Christian Danny or Danny, and then there's a atheist Danny. So I'm not sure which one. But if it's Danny, because I don't know, he wouldn't be on Daniel Hikichi wouldn't be on
Is it
TikTok.
our
It could be Christian Danny, or it could be the atheist Danny. I'm not sure.
So on TikTok, Speaking Muslim went live that night with Jake and was telling Danny about your 13 and 15-year-old story, said you was 19 and lied, I guess, after y'all talked.
Oh, so it must have been the Christian
Oh,
Danny.
after the long stream.
Yeah, so after that 7-hour stream where David became best friends with Jake, he just, man, what are you doing, Jake? Come on, man.
You two-faced.
You munafiq.
So and so. We saw you crying when you thought Jake.
That's Speaking Muslim, yeah.
Yeah, we saw Speaking Muslim cry when Jake said he was in trouble.
Yeah.
Like literally almost crying.
Yeah, he got him in tears.
Federal crimes by the Dawah Bros, Timu lawyer, no joke. To quote the late JC, not our Lord, of course, weird, wild stuff. Oh, yeah, it's Johnny Carson. Weird, wild stuff.
The late JC, not our Lord, of course. Yeah.
I need to,
That's a good
Johnny, he would always, weird, wild stuff. I need to like go through all those, go through a bunch of those old talk shows that people have forgotten about, and then I can steal all their cool lines, like weird, wild stuff. Let's see. Is it possible to make Giant DOC sound louder?
Oh.
We can shout.
Are there issues with our mics?
No, I can make myself quieter by putting myself a little farther away.
Then you can just turn your volume up and we're all good.
Yeah, guys, I was pointing out, we still, this is a whole new system. So we got the Rodecaster and we plug the things in there. We got it plugged in. We know kind of like the basic settings, but there's all sorts of stuff in there you have to tweak. And I saw somewhere that there is, even though the Rodecaster is like standard, that's your standard sound mixer. And Shure mics are your standard like podcasting mics and stuff like that. There is a problem with these things being a little too quiet when connected to that. So there's this whole thing that there's all these troubleshooting things and so on. So anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna have to deal with any sound issues but fortunately, we're gonna be studying. My son and I we're gonna be studying sound all next week to figure all this stuff out. So then it should all be good to go. And after that, after we get the sound taken care of, then we're switching to multicam. So it won't just be one camera here. I'll have a camera pointed there, a camera pointed at me, and then a camera of all of us. And once that's squared away, then switching to live call-ins. So
it's gonna be epic.
Yeah, gonna be dope. Gonna be super, super dope. Dawah guys are like Allah, only worse at lying. I don't know, Allah's pretty bad too. I knew when Jake was saying Malik was messaging him, calling him a munafiq, something was sketchy. If anything, I can call BS from a mile away.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things that Malik had exposed from their text, that he actually had promised to Malik that he wouldn't talk to anyone anymore. And like that night, he goes
and talks to all of the Christians.
He talks to David S, Thaddeus. And so then he finds out about yeah. So that's why he called him a hypocrite, a munafiq, was because he literally told him, I guess it was like that night or something like that.
Why would he do that?
He's like, I'm not gonna go talk to them anymore. And then he goes on David's stream.
Him talking to us.
Yeah, I don't understand the reasoning there. There may have been a point to it all, and even on some of the things, even if we're dealing with people who you catch on to there are shady things going on here and there.
Yeah,
I would still give the benefit of the doubt on particular issues, like when he said, so Malik posted the screenshot of Jake saying that he was lying to God Logic when he went up there and said, hey, I don't approve of that stuff. Yeah. Well, guess what? You can give the benefit of the doubt and think that Jake was lying to Malik, right? Like in other words, he was sincere. Hey, I'm not for this doxing, Avery. I think this is kind of messed up stuff. But then he doesn't realize he's being recorded, and then it's going to be posted, and then it's going to get back to Malik. So then he goes to Malik, hey man, I was just lying to him. It's like, if you're lying, you could be lying to everyone. You could be lying to some people and stuff like that. And so it's this weird situation of, okay, you want to come on and like clarify when you were lying and when you were not lying?
Yeah, I was thinking that during your stream with him when he came on, he had this opportunity to clear the air, and but he's like, I'm just gonna let it loom to the audience. Just you guys can decide it for yourselves. Like, well, wait a minute, you either lied to Avery or you lied to Malik. So what does that make you in either case?
A liar.
So it's
I
like
th- I
that was
think
our only point with it, was that this guy is admitting that he's a liar. And then we hear speaking come out saying, hey, my sheikh just said that we're allowed to lie to everybody if we have this like greater goal of. So I'm like thinking, wait a minute. So this guy is lying because he's got permission from his sheikh that he pays $250 an hour to teach him these sort of things. Then Jake comes on, he admits that he's lying, but he's like, I'm gonna let you guys decide who I was lying to. But yeah, I was lying.
Mhm.
I'm like thinking, how
I
can
think
you,
he lied to Avery
how can you trust
because
these
remember
guys?
him and Speaking Muslim were together on the doxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, and that would be the case cracker.
Yeah.
Like if Jake was in on the doxing, he's obviously not against the doxing, and so he would have been lying to Avery to get on good terms with him. But if he's actually not part of the doxing and he doesn't like that and doesn't like what it leads to, I would understand him lying to Malik if once Malik finds out what you said and condemned Malik. Like, I understand, oh no, this guy will snitch on everything. I'm just gonna, no, hey dude, no, I'm really on your side. I'm just trying to trick these guys. Yeah.
We heard from Life, who's with Avery's crew, that he was trying to be nice to them. Jake was trying to be nice to them to go out to dinner with them so that he can look for more info
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, these
get
guys
them
are
to lower
like,
their guard and get more info.
these guys are like really like super geniuses when it comes to this stuff.
And Life was like, I knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not having dinner with you.
Yeah. But we warned Life. We said, hey, if you ever do go out to dinner with Muslims, just don't eat the
say-
lamb.
Don't eat the lamb, and
eat the
don't tell
lamb.
them anything personal about yourself. It's gonna be all over TikTok the next day.
Don't eat the lamb.
Let's see here. Should I become a sheikh or will I be out of a job in a couple years? Yeah, that's not long-term job security. Because Islam is crumbling. Surah 4, 157 copied second treatise of Great Seth. There's a, not necessarily copying it. I mean, he's obviously like getting the story, but you have multiple Gnostic and Docetist sources that talk about someone else being crucified in Jesus' place. What's just interesting is like the reason is the opposite of Islam. And it's like you keep the conclusion of the story, but your theology is the opposite of the rest of the story. So the reason some of the Gnostics and Docetists said that Jesus didn't die, I mean, they didn't believe that Jesus was actually became a human. He was just divine. He was just divine. He appeared like he was a human, but they would say things like he didn't leave footprints when he's walking around and stuff because he didn't really have a body. It was an illusion.
Yeah.
But then the objection came up, well, how did he get crucified if he didn't have a body? And say, well, God made someone else look like Jesus, and then this other person was crucified. And it's like, and then that ends up in the Quran, at least according to the main Muslim interpretation. There are Muslims who don't think that's what it's saying. But for those who think that is talking about Allah tricking people into thinking Jesus was crucified, then it's obvious where that story came from. But it's just shocking that it's like the exact opposite. So the people who came up with that story, where people believe that Jesus is just divine, he doesn't have a human body. Muslims believe that he's not divine, but he's just human. And so they keep the end of the story, but I don't know, it's for the opposite reasons. Like, if you don't believe in the reason for making up the story, why do you still believe in the story, right? So there was a theological reason to make up a story about someone else being disguised and then being put on a cross. You don't agree with that reason at all. So, but you're going to take the story? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I was listening to someone talk about early Christian heresies, and it's like how it started out was like people were denying that Jesus was actually truly human, right? That was how it's like, like in First John it says, like, denying that he came in the flesh, and you might read that and you're thinking like, well, why would it say that? It's because they were denying, like David said, they were denying that he actually had a human body, a human nature, but they believed he was God. And then later on in history, as you go, they say that he's human, but he's not God. So like the heresy changed from, okay, he's God, but he's not human. So that's the heresy they're denying, he's not human. And then it went from that to, he's human, but he's not God. So there's the heresy they're denying that he's God. Whereas the true position is that he's truly God, truly man. So it's like, but how the history works is like the opposite of what how it ended up becoming.
Yeah, it's funny. So theologically they went in two opposite directions, but then they agree on the story, which is like not the story if you don't go, to some silly theological extreme. Let's see. Isn't Pyru a gang? The Bloods? What's Islam Pyru? Yeah, he calls the show Club Pyru. He claims to be a Blood. He walks around in his little red bandana and stuff like that. And yeah, everyone understands he needs to stay as far away from actual Pyru gang members, because if they find out, I mean, if they actually see him and they know he's using their name and stuff, would not go well for him. Would not go well for him. I guess we found out who Malik's interior gerbil is.
Yep.
Yeah, what did he call it? His inner rat or something like that?
Yeah.
Internal.
Yeah.
Oh, he called it internal rat or something like
Internal
that.
rat,
That
yeah.
doesn't sound good, man. My jihad is getting fourth wife to third grade on time.
Oh, man.
Extremely messed up and Islamophobic. May the Lord bless everyone in this chat right now. Amen. Ida again, what is common sense? What is debate? What is common sense?
Yeah.
They think we're lol, most peaceful religions ever, yet just the last 50 years, no single group has slaughtered as many people as Islam. Pretty relentless. And that's I've mentioned this many times before, but that's when I read Robert Spencer's book, The History of Jihad. Like, I knew about the stuff during the time of Muhammad, and I knew a little bit later about, as Islam expands. And then I knew about stuff like recently, like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and all this stuff. But when you go through the history of jihad, the biggest takeaway is just how relentless it is. And we just forget about it. I mean, keep in mind, I've been debating this stuff for decades now. For 2 decades now, I've been debating this stuff. And it was most of what is in the history of jihad, I hadn't heard it before. Why? Because we just focus on the time of Muhammad, maybe a little after, and then we focus on now, and we just forget.
Yeah.
And once you see what you've forgotten, it's like, oh my goodness, they never stop until you make them stop. And then they pretend to be victims and so on while they build up, and then they attack again. It's just completely relentless for 14 centuries. And it's a pretty screwed up ideology. And if you oppose it, you're evil. I thought I was looking at Mo and the Al-Zut, then realized it was just giant heels. That's messed up.
That's not cool, man.
Because you're super white. That's not cool, man.
Because I'm brown? Is it because I'm brown?
Yeah. Who's ready for the Ramadan Bombathon? Oh, I hope there's no. Here's the thing. Back when you had like ISIS, we had the Ramadan Bombathon every day because we knew that there was just going to be a spike in terrorist attack, and there was. Because your rewards are multiplied during Ramadan. So if you want to do a terrorist attack and you do it during Ramadan, oh man, you are super good with Allah. But then as ISIS started losing and so on, then that kind of faded. But we know these guys are getting really desperate right now. They're kind of in panic mode. The Ummah is in panic mode, and when they're in panic mode, the inclination is to get more violent. So yeah, I'm hoping we don't see the. You're going to see some attacks during Ramadan, but I hope it doesn't just go back to the way it was in 2016, 2017 and stuff. Total bloodbath. Guys, let's ask an organization that donated to bin Laden to know if Islam is violent. That would be smart. Hey, Whack-Ass has a cousin named, hey, I'm not reading that. What's wrong with you people? Who is a close personal friend of the Warner. Giant DOC, you need some curtains or baffles in your studio.
We do have curtains, but we just need more furniture.
What the heck is a baffle?
I don't know.
I don't know what baffles are, but
We
I
do
know
have
what curtains. We'll just put some, David said, some carpet and maybe some.
They might be referring to for kind of echoey sound. That could be what might be thinking of curtains as far as absorbing sound and stuff like that.
Okay.
Sunni supremacists Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab don't to about other minorities. Yeah, Alawites, Yazidis, Druze, even Shia Muslims. Oh yeah, man. No, these guys, a lot of these groups would be in trouble if these guys ever took over. Have you seen the shorts of New York women celebrating Sharia? The women are in tank tops and showing their hair, by the way. Not shocking. There are morons everywhere. In Houston at DebateCon, after the debate and when y'all talked, I guess it wasn't recently, but y'all was speaking about speaking Muslim, so thought I'd share.
What?
What?
Oh.
I'm a friend of Tommy
Oh,
Robinson, I will get a message to him today that Drizzle invited you over. He might, well, rock up. Yeah, God bless you all. Thank you. Yep. Is Jai between David and DOC, or is Jai between David and DOC, or is that DOC? What?
Jai, DOC.
oh, they don't
Oh,
know.
they don't know the
They don't
names.
know
Okay,
what
new
it
people.
is.
Yeah, new people
Yeah,
need to know names.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jai,
Yeah.
DOC stands for Daughter of Christ. That's DOC.
Man first, Jai.
Jai, DOC. Jai, DOC. Jai, DOC. Now you know. Now you know. All right. You guys ready to check out this video?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
Here we got the PBD. PBD. Interesting. He's taken more of an interest in this Islam versus Christianity stuff. It seemed like if you go back a couple years, his main interest was in bringing people together, bringing Muslims and Christians and others together to work together on things that we agree on. And now he's actually, I mean, he still probably retains some of that, but he's a little more critical of the idea that that's going to work, and he's a little more critical of certain ideologies. But let's check this out.
I think he's waking up.
Okay, so if you
Okay.
get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. 3 things I want you to be thinking about. Whether you start a country, or you start a company, or you start a sports team, what do you want the people that come to your country to do?
Violently subjugate you.
If it's a country, you want them to assimilate. If it's a company culture, you want them to acclimate. If you're a head coach with players coming to your team, you want them to acclimate to your standards. So now, let's focus on the word assimilate. What is the definition of assimilate? To assimilate means to take in, adapt to, and become part of something bigger, whether ideas, culture, or substance. Okay.
Okay.
Do we need one of these boards?
Yeah, these are pretty
Oh.
cool. We should get one of these.
What do? They expand?
Yeah, you like. It seems like it's one of those things you like infinitely like just keep zooming.
It's like a huge iPad. It's like a giant iPad.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but yeah, it's all touch screen, and so you can
yeah.
I guess you write it on something else, or maybe you can write it on this, but
Yeah, it looks like you see the bottom, the colors on the bottom.
yeah,
it looks like
yeah.
you can like
It
yeah.
looks like an iPad.
Yeah, and he's standing up too. That's pretty cool. You can it's I think we should get one.
it looks like a good idea. I'm not great at learning new technology, but you guys might want to roll that way. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe once you learn how to use it, it's just easy to use. I don't know. Let's see.
Interesting. We'll get into that here in a minute, but I want to show you something here. There's 5 things we came up with to have it here as things you want to make that company, the country, a better place. Number 1 is economic contribution. If you're running a country, you want me to come to your country, the most important thing is what? Can you please contribute to our economy? Which means what? Buy a home, start a business, create jobs, have a job, pay taxes, invest into the business, professional development, learn a new skill set, support local businesses, produce more than you consume. Very basic.
That last one, produce more than you consume. So you are actually a benefit and not a drain.
So don't
You
be a
can-
leech.
Mhm.
Don't be a parasite.
Our country, we'd like you to do this, but this is 1 out of the 5 pillars. Let's go to the second one.
He's got 5 pillars.
5 pillars. Oh, that's good. That's good.
PBD's 5 pillars. I should have called it that.
Yeah, he's
Is that on purpose?
yeah. It has to be. It has to be.
I don't think so.
That has to be on purpose.
If
5
it's on
pillars?
purpose, kudos to you.
Yeah, because to say pillars though, it's like I don't know. I feel like this.
But he actually has them kind of set up like pillars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1, are you going to contribute to the economy or hurt the economy? And then next is family and social continuity.
Second one is family and social continuity. Have kids, right? Raise law-abiding citizens. Stay involved as a parent. Care for elderly. Take care of your parents. Teach civic at the house. Work ethic, respect, and responsibility. Basic so far, nothing crazy, right? Okay.
So there's are you as a family, are you raising responsible citizens? That's who you would want. You want people in your country. If you're bringing people in, you want them to raise responsible citizens. Makes sense.
Want people like this. 3, we want them to have civic and cultural integration. Speak the language. You live in America. Speak the language. Obey the laws. Respect constitutional values. and resolve disputes peacefully. Things happen in your community, resolve it, but be peaceful about it. 4, service, duty, and community. Join the military, right? One of the best things I ever did is join the army. Volunteer, coach and mentor the youth. Donate your time, protect public spaces. Very simple. You live here, give back to society. We have stats on what religion joins the military the most that comes to America. Some of these numbers I show you, I guarantee you 99.9% of you guys have never seen this before. And last but not least, it's what? Character and conduct, okay? Which means what? Keep your commitments, show up on time, take responsibility for your mistake, do not commit violent and financial crimes, leave places better than you found them. Okay.
Yeah, and on that last one, as far as like respecting the laws and obeying the laws and so on, that's pretty rough if you think the laws of the country you're going to are evil nonsense and that you've got the true law system that should really be imposed on everyone else. It's like how dedicated are you going to be to following the law if you believe it's a corrupt, screwed up kafir system that conflicts with the rulings of God?
Yeah.
So we got this stat as the basis of what it is if you want to build a country, what the commitment of the people are out there that we want to bring in. So then we have to ask ourselves 2 questions. One is, what religion produces the best results? Remember at the beginning, the more people have to lose, the safer the society is. Meaning, if we can get people to own a house, have a business, have a job, pay taxes, have kids, involved in the community, they want to make that place a better place. So what
You got that? So it's a parallel to Islam. What he just said, the more you have to lose, the more you have to lose. That's a big factor. When a woman reverts to Islam, so when they dupe her into converting to Islam, they want to instantly get her married and start having kids.
Yeah.
Why? So that by the time she learns, like, everything she's been told is complete nonsense, it's going to be extremely costly to turn against it, right? So similarly, he's saying, if you're bringing in immigrants, you want them getting a job, buying a house, having kids who are going to school and so on, so that you have so much invested that you don't want to turn against the country. It's going to cost you everything, right? It's going to cost you a lot. And notice the Islamic thinking would be, do not integrate to the system, because you don't want to have that loyalty to the system. You don't want to be people, you don't want people thinking, oh, if we declare war against these guys, it's going to cost us everything. You want them, hey, we already have nothing to do with these guys, even though we're in their country.
religion produces the most results for people to be financially free, responsible, so they make sure that community they live in is safer. Watch this. Here's what data shows. Again, get upset at the data. The data shows the following.
Freaking data.
Right now, population by percentage, if we look at this, Christians are 2.65 billion of the population of the world, 2.65 billion people, that's 32%. Muslims are 2.05 billion, 25%.
Hey, how's it feel being number two? Number two.
Hindus 1.25 billion, 15%. Buddhists are 324 million, 4.1%. And then you have Jews, 15.2 million, only 0.2% of the population. So then we went to the next one. Which one produces the most billionaires by religion? And here's what we noticed, okay? Christians are 32% of the population in the world. They produce 33% of all billionaires.
So in other words, it's pretty even. You've got 32% of the population, of the world's population. You have 33% of the billionaires.
Muslims, who are 25% of the world, they produce 7% of all the billionaires. You may say, well,
Okay, so they're pretty crap.
There's a discrepancy there.
Yep.
It's massive.
So proportionally, they are not good at producing billionaires, apparently.
it's not all about wealth. And where does this money go to? Believe it or not, a lot of the wealth is coming from hierarchical families who are from, royal families or oil.
Yeah,
but we'll
oil.
get to that as well, right? 25% Muslim, 7%. If you go over here, Hindus, 15%, they drop to 10%. And then you have Buddhists, they're 4.1%. They only produce 4% of billionaires. Jews are
even.
0.2% of the world population,
Jews are gonna be way
but
up
they
there.
produce 19% of
Look at that.
billion.
Ooh.
Jews are 0.2% of the world's population, they have 19% of the world's billionaires. There are almost as many. Look, so they have 19% of the world's billionaires. Muslims have 25% of the world's billionaires, even though they're over a quarter of the world's population. And so Jews produce almost as many billionaires as Muslims.
Oh, don't Muslims have 7%?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah,
It's a
Whoa.
bigger
Oh, okay. No, I
issue.
was looking at the number above it. That's non-religious. So I wasn't even paying attention to the non-religious. So it's non-religious, that's atheists and so on. They have about 25% of the billionaires. So yeah, so guys.
Oh, that math is rough. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
So Muslims have about a quarter of the world's population, over a quarter of the world's population. Jews have 0.2 of 1%
ooh.
of the world's population, and they have almost 3 times as many billionaires. You see, this is because the Jews control the world.
That's what Ali Dawah said about
Yeah.
Epstein, and he
Oh,
said he
yeah.
was Jewish.
Where do you
and
get this
all
money from? Oh, Mossad, of course. Mossad. That's what he said.
But there's an interesting thing coming up. I remember he's going to switch to millionaires,
Okay.
and it's an important issue, because if you produce some billionaires but not a lot of millionaires, it means like the wealth is being hoarded by a few people, right? The wealth is being hoarded by a small minority. Whereas if you produce billionaires and a bunch of millionaires and so on, it's just like you're just generating lots of wealth for people
Right.
who like work hard or something.
But watch what happens. Because you may say, well, who cares if it's billionaires? That doesn't really matter. It's got to be about millionaires. I agree. So now let's go to millionaires. So Christians produce 33% of billionaires. Do you think they produce now more millionaires or billionaires, right? Makes you think. So you have to look at, is this number going to go higher or lower? And Muslims, they have 2 billion of the world population, only 7% of the world's billionaires, but they should go higher with millionaires, right? Because they got more people. Here's what happens. If we go to share of millionaires, this is what you'll see. Christians go from 33% to 56%.
Whoa.
That is interesting, guys. And so,
Wow. So the wealth is distributed.
yeah. So
Ah.
percentage-wise, most of the millionaires in the world are Christian. That's interesting. So the number goes up among Christians, which means, the wealth is being more distributed.
Okay.
So as good as the Christian religion is at producing billionaires, they are much better at producing millionaires. Think about that. The principles that are taught produces independent people that take care of their families, make their society and community a safer place. Forget about the debate about Jesus, Prophet Muhammad. I'm not
We will not forget about that.
debating religion. I'm telling you what's taught in the book produces these types of results. Watch the next one, okay? Then you have non-religious, which was 25% of billionaires. Here it goes to 31% of millionaires, more millionaires. But watch what happens to Muslim. They go from 7% to 6.4%.
What?
That's not
They
enough.
produce fewer millionaires than billionaires. You know what that means? They keep the wealth at the top. Christians get the wealth to go bottom because they produce more millionaires. Muslims keep the wealth at the top. Do you see the correlation between these two?
But you have a more extreme difference with Jews, right? So watch this. Now, again, Jews are still producing a lot of millionaires because they're only 0.2% of the world's population, and they're producing 1.9% of the millionaires and so on. But you do have significantly more disproportionate number of billionaires and I'm guessing that has a lot to do with like Hollywood executives and stuff like that, making piles of money and stuff.
Oh, so the Jews run Hollywood.
You see, this is the proof.
Continue for you here. And then when we go to Jews, their millionaires drop from 19% to 1.9%. Why? Because their population is only 15 million people. They don't have 2 billion Muslims. What's the population?
So Jews produce a disproportionate number of millionaires compared to their population. They're producing way more millionaires than you would guess from, you know, just being 0.2% of the population. But billionaires, like like they've produced a lot of billionaires, given that they're such a small population.
On this side with Jews, what's the number? 15.2 million. So they dropped to 1.9, and then Buddhists dropped from 4% of 1.2, and Hindu goes from 10% to only 4.2% of millionaires. This is purely what is taught and results. You can go investigate all of this, and I encourage you to do so. Let's go look at the top 20 countries that produce the most billionaires, and what religion do these countries have? What's the majority of religion of these countries? Here's what we noticed. US, 902 billionaires. Combined wealth of that country is $150 trillion in US. Christian nation, mainly Protestant is what it has here. China's number 2, they produce 450 billionaires, 85 trillion, yet their population is 5 times what it is in the US. India's next at 205, 15 trillion. Germany's 171 billionaires, 18 trillion. Russia is 140, 9 trillion. Canada's got 76 billionaires. Italy's got 74 billionaires. Hong Kong's got 66. Brazil's 56. Still, every one of these names,
where are the Muslims at?
not one of them is a Muslim majority country yet. Why not? Why is it not? Brazil, UK 55, Taiwan 54, France, Singapore, Australia, Sweden, Switzerland, Japan, Israel, Spain. At the 20th spot is Indonesia with 33 billionaires, and the combined wealth in that country is $4.5 trillion. Why are we looking at this? You'll see where we're going with this. If we continue to this side, here's what you would see. The population in US is 335 million, but remember the combined wealth in the US is what, 150 trillion.
Okay, so guys, yeah, if you have the combined wealth and then the population, then you can get the like per capita. Like what is the average person's net worth if you average it all?
We take 150 trillion, we divide it by 335 million, you're gonna get roughly average net worth per capita in the US is $447,000. Okay. Average net worth per capita, if you just divide, this is not median. You'd like, for example, you know, Elon Musk ruins this average. You know what I'm saying? He's got 750 billion, and you take a homeless person, your average of 2 out. A homeless person with Elon Musk, the average per capita of those 2 people is what? $375 billion. To kind of
yeah, guys, you get the it's kind of a difficult concept to grasp, but when you say average net worth 447,000, that doesn't mean the average person has a net worth of 447,000, because as he just pointed out, if you just had 2 people in your country and one of them is Elon Musk, and you just average that with a poor person, you'd say, oh, the average wealth in that country is hundreds of billions of dollars. Well, that doesn't mean that other person has, you know, billions of dollars and so on. So it's factoring all of this in. It's like what's the if it all averaged out, what's the average?
Where I'm going with this, but still the average in US is 447, China's 60,000, and you go all the way down. India's 10,000.
Now look at that. So that's average in India is 10,000.
Yeah.
So they have some billionaires, but they have such a big population that if you average it all out, it's an average of 10,000. So that would be lots of poor people. That if you have some billionaires and it's averaging to 10,000, and so you've got billionaires who are being factored into the average of 10,000, that means you have a lot of people who basically have nothing. If the average is 10,000, that means like you have tons of people who like probably don't even have 1,000.
Wow.
Germany is 214. There's countries that are above America, by the way. For instance, Canada's 390. Credit, we make fun of Canada a lot, but their GDP is bigger than Russia's GDP. I think they got a 2.3 trillion GDP. I think Russia's got a 2.2 trillion out of GDP. Look at Hong Kong, 800,000. Why 800,000? They got 11 trillion, but they got 7.5 million people. So then you'll come down here, you'll look at certain numbers, you'll see Singapore's 847, you'll see Australia's 518, Sweden is 523, Switzerland's 898, bigger than America, but then Indonesia is what? Net worth per capita is what? $16,000. Why?
And again, if 16,000, again, that's not saying an average person has 16,000. If you have millionaires and billionaires, but they average out to $16,000 per person, that means you have a ton of people who are just completely in the poverty range.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like I know, like in Saudi Arabia, they have like the upper class
Mhm.
and the lower, but there's like
There's no middle.
There's no middle.
Like there's so many rich people in Saudi
Yeah.
that are all connected and royal family
Yeah.
and business.
And then just drops to
And
dirt
then
poor.
you walk around, there's so many homeless
Yeah.
people. They can't they beg for food from the pilgrims.
Yeah.
And there's no like
There's no middle.
middle.
Yeah. There's no middle class.
So the wealth is
Yeah.
not fairly distributed. I think
Yeah.
that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's 4.5 trillion divided by what? 277 million people, okay? Again, if your ideology or philosophy or religion at the top, that's the foundation of the country, produces results, your people win. This shows your people are losing under this regime and under this religion. Now, does that...
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, interesting. If the average person is like dirt poor, your people are losing at the expense of something. Back up a couple seconds.
Yeah, so the assumption is that like these countries are like basing their how their country functions from their religion. Like that's where they get their principles from and all that stuff. So I guess that's where so that's where he's come up with these judgments.
I think it's corruption, isn't it? It's no secret all Muslim countries are extremely corrupt and they're not fair in their their everyday. So a lot of if you don't have connections, if you don't have power, money, you can't get your basic rights, can't find jobs, even with skills, etc. Whereas it's more equal in a Western country. That's why they immigrate to Western countries. At least with your degree, you can find a job. At least you can rent a house. At least you can feed your family. These givens are not all given in a Muslim country. You have to fight for them.
Yeah, so I guess you could think of the push to immigrate to a Western nation just in terms of this. It's I'm doomed here. I'm doomed to be poor here because the wealth is hoarded by a small number of elites.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what I do. There are just no opportunities. Whereas if I can get to the United States or something like that, and I work, then it's definitely going to be better than sticking where you are in a lot of these places.
Wow. Okay.
Your religion at the top, that's the foundation of the country, produces results, your people win. This shows your people are losing under this regime and under this religion. Now, does that mean everybody is? No, not everybody. Hang tight with me here. Watch this. Muslim majority countries. You got Pakistan, only 4 billionaires, yet they have 245 million people that live there. Think about it. 245 million people live there, only 4 billionaires. Bangladesh, 175 million people live there, 0 to 1 billionaires. Nigeria, 4 to 5 billionaires, 230 million people live there. Egypt, 113 million people live there, 5 billionaires. Iran, 0 to 1, 89 million amazing people live there. Turkey,
because he's from
10 or 15, 86 million people live there. Turkey at least produces billionaires. Algeria, 1 or 2, 46. Sudan, 0 to 1, 48 million. Iraq, 0. Afghanistan, 0. Watch this. Total wealth by these countries, if we look at it, 1.6 trillion, Pakistan. Then you got 1.4, 2.4. Look at the bottom. Afghanistan is 0.2 trillion. The combined net worth of that country with 42 million is only $200 billion, okay? Iraq is 1.2 trillion.
$200 billion. Did he say the combined net worth? 200 billion?
Yeah. It's pretty poor.
Elon's worth like 800 billion. He could buy 4 Afghanistans.
Wow.
Of course, they'll blame the West, of course, because you
They
guys
always
destroyed our
blame-
countries.
blame the West.
45 million. Sudan is 0.6 trillion, which is 600 billion. This means Elon Musk could buy Sudan and Afghanistan together and make it his country if he were to buy the real estate. Obviously, I'm being a little bit, kidding to you, but you get what I'm saying. Watch the wealth. Ready? Net worth per capita, $6,600, $8,100,
Oh.
$4,000 in Afghanistan. All of these numbers you look at and you say to yourself, why? Why? Why do you have hundreds of millions of people who are this poor? Why? What are you teaching? We're living in a world of YouTube. Content is everywhere. Why can't you open up the universities some of these universities we have in America that are online, and you can educate your people so the economy can get better. Why not? Why don't these people have the same opportunities that many of these countries in the top 20? Now, by the way, let's go to the next ones, the outliers. Saudi.
It's funny that he's just like, you got YouTube now, guys. You have YouTube and all these countries. Like, why don't you like figure out some other things that work?
Yeah.
They have a gender apartheid in Afghanistan. Women are not allowed to even appear in public or have their voice, let alone go to school or be educated. Or if you have half of your population just sitting idle at home, you've lost all these people in the workplace. You've lost all these people being taught. You've lost all these people giving. She just sits at home, waits for her husband to feed her.
They don't know how to use smartphones.
No wonder they're poor.
Yeah, this is
UAE and Qatar. But why is it that they have 36 billionaires in Saudi, 23 in UAE, 15 in Qatar? Why? Why is it that the total wealth is 7.3, 4.5, 2.2? Total population 36, 9.53 million. Net capita, ready? 202,000 in Saudi, 473,000 in UAE, 733,000 in Qatar.
That's extremely high, Qatar.
FYI, you know what they have in common that's different than these countries? They have zero tolerance for crime. Go ahead and commit a crime in these countries, see what happens to you. Go ahead. By the way, FYI, on top of that, people who come to these countries, mainly these two, because I think Qatar just changed it, there's something called the kafala system. You know how immigration works? I run valuetainment. I sign you off and say, I'm willing to accept the risk of this guy that just came here from whatever country, Bangladesh, Philippines. I'll take him. If you break the law, I pay the government $100,000 to $1 million in fines. So imagine I bring terrible immigration, 9 people, I go broke. I'm not responsible at choosing who's good, who's not, right? And then that is starting a business in UAE, they have a law that 51% of the business needs to be owned by a local. So they have certain guidelines. So basic question for you.
So that's interesting. So he's saying some of these countries, the ones that are doing really well, they have a system, because he's one of his main, I mean, apart from like different religions and so on and how they impact things, one of the other things he's focused on is immigration. So he's pointing out these countries, these specific countries here. If you bring in, if you're a business and you're going to bring in workers from another country, he said there's a rule. It's on you if you bring in people who don't do a good job. Yeah. Like if you bring in people and they turn out to commit crimes and so on, you're paying for this stuff. Yeah. You're going to be fined. What does that mean? It means like there's this extra incentive. Think if you have a big company, he's talking about value time. If you have a big company, you can kind of bring in a bunch of people, and if they don't work out, we'll just, okay, you're fired. Right. Well, they're there. They're still there. And then they start leeching off the system or something like that, or they commit crimes. He's saying, if you understand that the people you bring in, if they are not top notch, it's going to cost you, and the government's going to say, you owe us $5 million for these idiots that you brought in and the things they did. What does that mean? It means you're going to be very careful in who you're bringing in, right? And the government doesn't actually have to worry, because if you bring in, your company brings in some very lazy criminals or something like that, if your company brings in it, that doesn't hurt the government. The government's just gonna find the business, and the government's gonna make its money. And so, yeah, he's just saying that they've come up with a way to vet people that they're bringing in, to make sure they're only bringing in people who are going to be a benefit to the country.
But sadly, the kafala system has become very oppressive, because they've become like super dictators, not just being careful. They hold these immigrants' passports, they deny them holidays, they work them to the bone. Because remember, they need to make them money and not give them any risk.
Because they're responsible.
Basically become like slaves. So it's not perfect. In fact, it's quite oppressive, but it works if that's what you need. You know, the opposite of what's happening in Europe.
I'd have to say, that's what those countries are good at. They're good at doing something that works, even if it's messed up in certain ways, but it works, as opposed to, you know, places like the United States, like lots of Western nations, where who cares what works? Let's just do what sounds good to a couple of leaders.
Right.
And so what you'd want is something that works and is good. Like it's not evil, it's not oppressive, and so on.
Yeah.
If you are running America, you're running a country, would you rather have immigrants come from here or here? You got to ask yourself the question. And why? Because they produce better results. I want to show you the history of immigration in America because it's important to realize how we came here. So watch this. 1790 to 1840, we have the founding era.
That's funny. He's breaking down the entire history of immigration in America.
This is the WASP blueprint, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. This is how America got started. Population was mainly English, Scottish, Dutch, 80% Protestant. Naturalization, if you wanted to become a naturalized citizen in 1790, you had to be a white, non-slave. Number two, you had to live here for 2 years. Number three, you had to have a good moral character. They defined it. If you're good with those areas, you become a citizen. This is how America got started. Catholics were known as the limited religious minority. The first time John F. Kennedy ran for office, like, oh my God, can America handle a Catholic becoming a president? Guess what? Nobody thinks about it anymore. Biden was also Catholic. Number two is the Catholic wave. Millions of Irish German Catholics fleeing famine in Ireland, and political unrest in Germany from 1840 to 1880 came to the States. Chinese laborers also arrived in the 1850s for railroad and gold rush, introducing Buddhism and Confucianism, but banned from becoming citizens in America. Okay, banned from becoming citizens in America. Then we go to the industrial. This is very interesting what Ford did. Very, very interesting what Ford did. From 1880 to 1924, great wave of 20 million people came here from Italy, Poland, Russian Jews, Eastern Europeans who went to the East generally, and then Asian, Chinese, and Japanese came to the West. This is when we had the Ellis Island from 1890 to about 1950, something like that. And then Henry Ford pioneered something, the melting pot thing that we hear about. Apparently somebody else came up with, but he took ownership of it, is the following. Brilliant idea. He created the Americanization program in his company, and here's how it worked. The Ford English School required you to attend these courses if you wanted to get the bigger wage of $5 per hour. Okay, $5 per day, I think is what it was, okay? Watch what happens. You had to take English classes, you had to take civic classes, you had to take moral education classes, you had to take patriotic graduation classes, and then there's a ceremony, and guess what the inspection was? Your manager would come to your house to see how you live with your wife and kids. Can you imagine?
Dang.
Let me see where you sleep. Where do you cook? Let me see the kitchen. That's what Ford would do back in the days. The managers would come to your house to make sure you came to America. Have you assimilated? How do you live? Do you live like we live? And that became the.
So that's interesting because we're talking about like, you need some sort of system in place. You can't just say, hey, everyone who wants to come here, something like that. You're going to end up with a big mixture of people who just, want jobs and want to be able to provide for their families, and people who want to leech off the system, and criminals and everything else. And so we talked about like the system like Saudi Arabia and stuff has, but here you had kind of a different system. We're bringing in people, but we're going to incentivize by paying you more if you integrate. And so here are the different things that will help you integrate. We're going to pay you more if you do these things.
Melting pot concept under Ford. Mid-20th century post-war reforms after World War II and the Holocaust prompted humanitarian changes. Displaced Person Act of 1948 admitted 400,000 European refugees, including many Jews and Orthodox Christians. Restrictions for Asians eased, which means they can now become naturalized citizens. By 1960, this is very important data to look at because things changed right after this. By 1960, the U.S. was 70% white, roughly 65% of those to 70 were Protestant. Then the rest was Catholic. Then 5% unaffiliated. You got, atheists. 3% were Jews. Less than 1% were non-Christians.
Wow.
I
didn't hear Muslim.
That makes no sense. He said 3% are Jews, but 1% are non-Christian. So I don't know what he's talking about here. Let's see, 65% Protestant, 25% Catholics. So that would be 90%. And then another 5% unaffiliated. So that'd be 95%, 3% Jews, and then less than 1% non-Christian. I don't know what he means by less than 1% non-Christian.
Yeah, that's
so mass a little off there. So he must mean something else by that. I think it would be like less than 1%, like non-Christian, non-Jew, or something like that. So in other words, all the other ideologies combined would add up to less than 1%. But he's still dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah. So
non-Christians, less than 1%. And then this guy named Lyndon Johnson, who had a tendency of coming up with shitty policies, came up with another bad one. And this one was called the Hurt-Celler Act of 1965. And he said it was supposed to bring a bunch of skilled laborers. And he says, this is not a big deal. It's not going to impact America at all. Don't worry about it. His line was, this law would not dramatically change America's demographic. And he was royally wrong on what happened here. Watch this. In 1965, pre-Hart-Celler, these are the two senators I think that came up with this law here. Pre-1965, America was 84% white, non-Hispanic, 4% Hispanic Latino, 1% Asian American. Then you have the other 5% were foreign-born population, 90% were Christians. Muslim population was 100,000 in 1960. By 2026, white non-Hispanic goes from 84% to 57%. Hispanic goes from 4 to 20%. Asian American goes from 1 to 7%. Foreign-born population 5 to 15%. Dominant religion 90% Christian goes to 63% Christian, 30% non-affiliated, and Muslims went from 100,000 to 500,000. And by the way,
that can't be right. There's more than 500,000 Muslims in the U.S. It says 2026. There's I think around 3 million or something like that. Yeah, so a couple of these numbers are off.
And why is he going from percentages to numbers with Muslims?
I think that's where they're getting a few.
Like,
So how many Muslims are?
Yeah,
in the US?
because then we would have to do the math and figure out what percentage
Yeah.
that is. Like,
Yeah. So anyway, I guess they had a ton of numbers, and they're definitely off on some things.
this is what it looks like.
a
Muslim.
numbers guy.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
numbers guy.
PBD,
I'm a
you're supposed to be the
numbers
number
guy. I'm a
guy.
numbers
I'm
guy.
not a numbers guy. You're a numbers guy, and I'm not a numbers guy. And I'm sitting here looking at your numbers and saying you got some things off.
Between 3.5 and 4.5 million
Yep.
Muslims in the US.
Okay.
Population in the U.S. 1950, we had 20.
Yeah. See, look right here. I mean, it's your own. You've got it right here. Muslim population in the U.S. It's 20 to 30,000 1950, 100,000 1960, 500,000 1970. So that's what he had up there. Yeah. And then so I think he meant like right before and right after. So 1960 to 1970. So I think it's more the date was off when they're factoring these numbers in, because he does have the accurate number there. 2026 around, as DOC was pointing out, between 3.5 and 4.5. So
And where are the black people? He said white and non-white and Asian.
oh yeah, I don't know.
to 30,000, 60, it went to 100,000, then 500,000, now 4.5 million. In America, went from 0.02% of the population to 1.3%. That's 65x of population in the last 76 years is what they've done. They're dominating the level of growth in America. You got to give them credit because they want to come here. So now, going back to it, there's a few things I wanted to find out. And our team, Connor, Humberto did a great job. I want to find out, remember these 5 things we want you to contribute? Civic was learning, and then service was joining the military.
All the things we could do with this, like this is like infinity scroll thing.
Yeah.
Like here's the Quran verse, and here's the Hadith, and then here's
We can do it for the
here's the
Islamic,
Bible
we can do
verse,
it for
and
the Islamic dilemma
Yeah.
and like all the answers that we
all the
had,
comments.
and then we can zoom in into why they're wrong.
We may need one of those so that when we're doing live streams, if someone brings up an objection, we
We're
can say,
like, "Oh, okay,
okay, click the camera for the smart board there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we might need one of those. Might need one of those.
Let's see which religion that comes to America joins the military the most by portion of the percentage of their religion. Not
And you guys might be wondering, well, who cares about joining the military? Some people don't like to fight and things like that. You're joining the military. It's basically it's like you're saying, I think this country is important. I'm loyal to this country. I'm loyal to this country, and I'd be willing to fight for this country. So that is an important factor. If you have immigrants who are happy to join the military, that sounds like they really want to be integrated and be part of that country. If you have people who don't, then it could be a couple of factors. It could be, I just don't want to fight. Like I don't want my life to be going out and possibly fighting against other people. So it could be something like that. But it also could be I just don't want to support this. I really do not support this country. I want to live here. I want to use the system, but I don't want to support or defend it.
confusing and like we have 3 million people, 30 million people in the military, I'm making up numbers, and only 30,000 are Muslims, oh, they're a small percentage. No. By comparison, so the number 6 years is what they've done. They're dominating the level of growth in America. You got to give them credit because they want to come here. So now, going back to it, there's a few things I wanted to find out. And our team, Connor, Humberto did a great job. I want to find out, remember these 5 things we want you to contribute? Civic was learning, and a service was joining the military. Let's see which religion that comes to America joins the military the most by portion of the percentage of their religion. Not confusing it like we have 3 million people, 30 million people in the military, I'm making up numbers, and only 30,000 are Muslims, oh, they're a small percentage. No. By comparison, so the number is the right number that we're looking at.
So it's just what percentage of the immigrant population by religion joins the military.
Okay.
In other words, as he just pointed out, if you have way more of one group, you don't want to just compare numbers. You want to compare percentages.
Participation rate. Protestants is 0.45%. Catholics is 0.41%. Atheists, 0.32%. Buddhists, 0.22%. And Buddhists don't like to go to war. I think they even have certain things in place that they want to go. They don't want to go in the military. Orthodox Christian, 0.18%. Muslims is 0.15%. Jews are 0.7%. Hindus, 0.4%. They don't.
Numbers are off. You see that? I mean, he's ranking them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And he has 0.15 for Muslims, but he has Jews as lower. If it's 0.7, that would be above 0.15. So maybe he means 0.07 and then maybe 0.04 for Hindus. So I'm assuming that's what it means. If it's actually 0.7, then it should be higher. And if it's 0.4 for Hindus, then it should be significantly higher there. Matter of fact, it has to be 0.07 and 0.04, because if it was actually 0.7, that would be higher than they'd be at the top of the list. So fix your numbers, number guy. And so it'd be interesting because notice you don't have if it's 0.04 for Hindus and 0.07 for Jews, you'd have to say, well, why aren't, what are the factors as to why Jews and Hindus don't like joining the military? And with Jews, there is an emphasis on going into certain fields where you don't have to do things that may be forbidden or frowned upon, and so on. Hindus, trying to think, we're familiar with animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what their beliefs are about joining militaries and things.
In the military, Jews and Hindus don't join the military. They join the IDF, but they don't join our military. Now, somebody may say, well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Yes, a very valid argument.
It's mandatory.
It's mandatory military service.
Unless, but it's
there are exceptions, but they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But that is that's very interesting. So tons of them join the IDF. So it can't just be an ideology that prevents you from joining the military, something like that. Interesting.
I think the only exceptions are religious exceptions for Israel. If you are gonna, not join the military as a Jew who is an Israeli citizen.
But let me go a little bit deeper in this. Watch this. As we go into this, entitlement programs. These numbers came about from Minnesota, okay, on how much the folks in Minnesota that are coming from Somalia rely on welfare and entitlement programs.
No.
And there's 2 charts. One is household. This could be single. The other one is household with kids. No kids, kids. Maybe there's a correlation. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's mainly people with kids that take advantage of the most entitlement programs. Look at this. The orange that you see here is native households. Any welfare, 21%. Somali immigrant households, 81%.
Whoa.
So did you catch that? So
21 to 81?
21%, that's just native population. 21% are on welfare. Then it shoots up
so that's
to
like 2 out of 10, right?
Yeah, so yeah, and then vast majority of Somali immigrants are on welfare.
8 out of 10. So out of every 8 people.
So basically the Somali population, they don't want to work? Is that what it is?
That, I mean, as far as what he just pointed out, the dark bar, that would be, I think that's when they when they just got here. I think he said within the first year or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
So they need
Oh,
to,
then how many remain?
so they
on,
need time to
Okay.
get the
Okay.
job.
well, that's the thing, and you can see the bar behind it. That's after I think 10 years or something.
Oh, dang.
And so it's like it would make perfect sense if you come to a new country and they're willing to help you and so on. That would make perfect sense. But is that temporary, or are you just here to leech off the system and you want to leech off the system for your entire life and never change? So let's check it out.
So maybe after 10 years, they get off of it, right? Nope. Somali immigrant household 10 years later, nothing changed. From 81% to 78%. Do you want more of this coming here? Yes.
Isn't it, guys? Did you catch that? I mean, that's very important. You're bringing in tons of Somali immigrants, and the vast majority of them, 8 out of 10, go on welfare when they get here. Again, you'd think, okay, well, they're moving here from another place. Makes sense. 10 years later, it's still right around 8 out of 10.
Wow.
That means they came here specifically to leech off your system. Why? Once you notice that, once you had the numbers, why in the name of common sense would you say we need to keep bringing in more people who aren't focused on anything other than leeching off the system? They do not want to do anything else. They don't want to do anything other than leeching off the system. And this ties a lot together with the videos that Hatun and I went through, where the guy went and found all these.
The Leering Center.
Yeah. Keep in mind that wasn't just being on welfare. That's just like completely scamming the system.
Yeah.
That was completely scamming the system, getting millions of dollars from the government for all this stuff that you're supposedly doing. And what was amazing is, so you have the Leering Center, right? You have the guy who owns the Leering Center. He's getting whatever it is, 1.5 million a year for all these kids. Well, guess what? He then gives a portion of that to the families who are supposedly bringing their kids there, but they're not. So he says, on paper, your daughter goes to this Leering Center. And so for using your daughter's name, I give you, let's say, $10,000 a year, $5,000 a year, something like that. So notice that it's all everyone is involved in the scam. The people who run that, the people who are claiming that their kids are there when they're actually not. Everyone is scamming off the system. So you have 8 out of 10 of the Somali immigrants who are on welfare and don't want to change. They don't want to. It's not, hey, I just need some help now, but I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to get off the welfare.
Right.
It's, I'm here to leech off the system, and apart from leeching off the system, we all want to actually scam the government.
Yeah. Wow.
And we're just saying, and apparently you're bad and you're evil if you say, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep bringing in more people who are there to do nothing but leech off the system and scam the system. You're racist if you say that. Interesting.
No, you're paying for it if you live in America. Cash, 6%, 27.5, nothing changes. Food stamps, Americans, native households, 7%. Food stamps, 54%. 10 years later, no kids. 48. Why are we giving you food stamps 10 years later, no kids? Maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. Get a flipping job like the rest of us.
Wow.
Medicare, 18%, 73 to 68. And the ones with kids, look what happens, even higher. You get the drift? Nothing changes. So why?
It's like 9 out of 10. It's 89%. 89% of Somalis with kids, when they get here for like the first year of whatever that was, 89% are on welfare. 10 years later, 86. So still almost 9 out of 10.
Would you, as a taxpayer, when we talked about earlier, if we want people to come here,
it's funny. He keeps emphasizing taxpayer. It's like, guys, you are paying if you're a U.S. citizen who pays your taxes, you are paying for that. You are paying for that. When the government says, let's bring in another 100,000 Somali immigrants, guess what? If they have kids, 9 out of 10 are going to be on welfare forever. And you're paying. So for every 100,000 you bring, that's you paying for that. That's you basically saying, bring in these people. We're going to pay for them their entire lives.
Yeah, even if they don't have kids, it's like 8 out of 10. So it's like it only goes up like.
You can't have 8 or 9 out of 10 people in your community not work forever. Like
10 years.
You're gonna either run out of money, go bankrupt, or need someone to always be feeding you. I mean, it's no wonder that Somalia is how it is now, if that's the culture of just lie back and expect handouts. Maybe that's the culture that they mean. And maybe to help them is not to just enable that. Maybe it needs to be something else.
It's definitely a disaster. My
Yeah.
goodness, it's bad.
To contribute, skin in the game. Why would you attract people from a country that comes in and just takes all the taxpayers' money and expect you to go to work so they can stay home and take the food? Why would you do that? The way I process anything, just like a CEO, if you and I run a company and you hire 28 students that came from one university, they're all reckless, they all have bad habits. Would you want another 28 students coming from that college? Probably not. If you're a head coach at a college, at a big university, you got 30 players that came from this high school under this coach, that all of them smoke weed, all of them are troublemakers, all of them were hoodlums, none of them are disciplined, bad habits, don't come up to practice. Would you want more players coming from that coach? Now flip it. That coach, if 38 players came to you, 36 of them had 3.0 GPA and higher, 32 of them were incredible students, incredible athletes, and 17 of them made it to the NFL. Don't you want more players from that head coach? Of course you do. Do you care what the religion is? No. Do you care what his denomination is? No. Do you care what his skin color is? No. What do you care about? Results is what we care about. And unfortunately, and fortunately, this is all stats. You can go argue this all you want, or you can do what? And say, you know what? If I'm these countries, hey man, we got to start asking the question, why is that the case? Go do your research. Well, why do these countries, 19 out of 20, Protestant, atheist, Hindu, Protestant, Orthodox, Catholic, atheist, Catholic, Protestant, Buddhism, Catholic, Buddhist, Protestant, Catholic, Shinto Buddhist, Jewish, why do they produce better results than they do? I don't know. But you need to go a little bit deeper and find out why that is. There are certain things that don't add up. So one may say, if you're going to come here and you're not going to assimilate and contribute to the society, to American society, what are we doing getting more of those people coming here from whatever country it is? Complicated conversation, very sensitive conversation. I am certain I didn't make a lot of new friends from certain communities, but I'm willing to bet the right people.
You didn't make any Somali friends today, buddy.
Watch this and said, about time somebody showed some data that we can finally find out why this is taking place. We want a safer society, so when our kids go to school, you're not worried about it. If you're watching this saying, you know what, this kind of makes sense to me, share it with other people. If you're watching this saying, I cannot believe you said this, comment below. I want to read your content. You want to connect me directly and say something to me directly as well, my handle's going to be somewhere here. And if you're watching this right now saying, man, I love this episode, I want more stuff like this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And all the notes we got here will be in the PBD Entrepreneur Circle on Manek for free. All you have to do is go download the app and get the notes. Go through all the data we gave you. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to watch another video like this, I did a video many years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, titled, Why I Love Chapalism. If you've never seen it, click here to watch. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Interesting stuff. Different angle from what we normally take, but
definitely
had to be said. Crazy stuff. Any thoughts on that before we jump on the super chats?
I definitely do see a difference in culture, having been a Christian, in the way Christians work and deal with their lives. Like biblical behaviors, like, if you don't work, you don't eat. And having, obeying your masters, at work as to the Lord, and honesty, integrity, generosity. And to be able to be generous, you have to be able to have the resources to be generous with that. And this sort of proactiveness in doing things, like even people who like watch our streams, they're always like, oh, we need your PDF, or we need your presentations, we want to study them, we want to use them, work with them. It's this proactive working thing.
yeah
Whereas when I look at where I came from, like the Muslim culture, what do you see? You see, go TikTok, you see infighting. There isn't, you see spending hours not getting anywhere, going around in circles. There's no scholarship. Even if you're interested in something, they want to go ask the sheikh. They're lazy. Instead of going to find it out yourself or study yourself, you want someone else to feed you the info because, I can't do it myself. It's that sort of laid back, lazy attitude. So I think once Muslims leave their religion en masse and come to the values of the Lord Jesus, this laziness will go away, and more proactive, more positive attitude will come to them. You know.
Nice.
Yep. And that's actually if you like if you read one of the books, there's been a few, but on how Christianity changed the world and so on. And they list different ways, like even like different Christian groups have impacted the world, like with like Catholic missionaries and so on. Just literacy skyrocketed wherever they went because they would want to make schools and teach people to read so that they can read the Bible, but then your literacy rate shoots up, which has a huge impact on the future of your country and so on. If you have more and more people who can read, but in Europe, what they usually mention is it's called the Protestant work ethic. That it became emphasized in lots of Protestant churches. What DOC was saying, that work like you're working for the Lord. And work like you're working for the Lord. Whatever you're doing, do it like you're doing. Now think, if you're, working at a desk or you're working in a factory or something like this, but you're like, you know what? I'm not just working to get this paycheck. I'm going to work like I'm working for the Lord. You're probably going to do a bang up job.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever you're doing, you're going to do a better job at it. And like now it's like, almost like, oh, I have to work for this person who has this company, but he's actually like the enemy because he's rich and I'm not and so on. So I'm going to try and like squeak by with what I can do. And that's like different from people who want the entire system to break down, who, I have to work right now because I need to survive, but I actually want all of this to come crumbling to the ground eventually so I can get my socialist utopia or my communist utopia and so on. Point is, you have other people who have a different view of work. And even it doesn't have to be like some ideology. It can just be like, work is this sucky thing I have to do to have money for the things that I actually care about and enjoy. Well, you're probably not going to do the best job you can. And so guess what? Beliefs matter. Beliefs matter, and they impact entire civilizations and so on. And so, yeah, if you see, it's not just true of Muslims, anyone who has like a negative view of working and contributing to the system, that's actually actively helping to, it's a retrograde force. It's tearing the system down. And I don't know why we wouldn't want to be more aware of that. And I don't know why we jump to, if you're criticizing people who, bringing in more people from groups that just want to see the whole system come crashing to the ground, you must be racist. It was like, no, I can just think it's a really, really bad idea to bring in tons of people who want the system to come crashing to the ground. All right, let's jump on these super chats and then we'll wrap up. Let's see. Hey, David, I have a question. Why haven't I seen anyone debating about the scientific miracles in the Quran, especially the one about where semen is made? Well, I brought that up a lot. As far as not debating, it's because Muslims have given up on the argument. The Dawah guys have given up on the argument. You still find at the popular level people who still believe in the scientific miracles because they heard it from Zakir Naik 20 years ago and they never found out it's been completely debunked. But yeah, it's pretty rough to find Dawah guys now since they acknowledge that the argument has been debunked. But yeah, once we start live call-ins, we'll probably get some regular Muslims who are calling in and still adhere to the scientific miracles. But also, DOC is going to be going through, if you're talking about where semen is made, and so the entire Islamic view of how reproduction works and so on, embryology and stuff. But yeah, DOC here in the near future is going to be exposing all that stuff.
Yep.
PBD has 5 pillars. Mo initially had 30.
Oh, wow.
Also, note, our Lord Jesus was a carpenter. He worked with his hands. What job did Muhammad do?
He was a robber.
Caravan robber.
Leeching, parasiting of a caravan?
Yep.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I mean, when we talk about leeching the system, like the entire... Islam is designed to leech, right? You go out and fight, you subjugate the population, and then you make them pay you money.
Yep.
Right? You go out, you're a warrior, you go out, you fight, you subjugate people, and then you make them, the subjugated people, pay you.
Yeah.
The entire system is made to leech off the entire world. And then you wonder, hey, we're bringing in lots of these people, why aren't they contributing more? Check out the ideology. Hey, that fallacy they always commit when they say Jesus is a Muslim. Oh, Muslims have beards. Jesus has a beard, so Jesus is a Muslim. You point out that's the fallacy of the undistributed middle. But you do that right here. Islam has 5 pillars. PBD has 5 pillars. So PBD is a Muslim. You see, got the proof. Ida says it's really simple. Some groups and religions love and evaluates life. I think you mean values life.
Yeah.
The other is not, unfortunately. Guess who is who?
Yeah.
We have
Well, yeah, Muslims are out there shouting it from the rooftops. We love death. We love death. It's like you don't have to do too much research on that.
Ida knows there's no real mystery here.
Yeah.
So 7% of 2 billion is 140 million. Yes.
That's the billionaires.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Really?
What?
Is that true?
2 billion. Let's see, 2 billion. So 10% of 2 billion would be 200 million. So yeah, 7% would be 140 million.
Okay.
Your math checks out, Bronca. Question. The average is 16,000. Why? Answer. 40 generations of first cousin marriage. That plays a role. In Australia, the government gives assistance to families to help. The lower class suburbs are all Muslims and they all don't work, with many of them multiple wives, and the government wonders why they're wasting money. Yeah.
Yep.
Hard to figure out. The Jews don't have Gulf oil, yet they are rich. Oh yeah, and by the way, that's important. There are almost no like natural resources in Israel. It's rare to find, like, they've got one lake, the Sea of Galilee, which isn't actually a sea, it's a lake, and they've got one river, which where I come from, we would not call it a river, we'd call it like a creek or something like that. It's like you could almost jump across this thing. The Jordan. We read about the Jordan. We read about the Jordan River and having to cross the Jordan River and stuff like that. We think of it as like huge river. No, it's like it's a creek. Matter of fact, we asked the tour guide there because he was pointing out how like what a tiny little river this is. Why do you read in the Bible about how difficult it was to move a population across? And he said, if you have a bunch of people who can't swim, even a tiny little thing is kind of a big ordeal.
Did they say it was 17 million Jews in the world?
15, I think.
15 million?
Yeah.
That's a little province in Cairo. Like,
yeah.
It's like tiny, tiny number.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's not even the whole of Cairo.
Yeah. So, as far as Israel, that's like one lake, one tiny stream, creek, and
how do they make all that money?
yeah, that means you're really working with what you have. So yeah, they didn't just find themselves on an ocean of oil.
Yeah.
It's actually sad that we have states in our country that have more wealth than these nations. I feel for the people, need to bring Christ there bad. It's similar to what PBD was saying. Like, he's just saying, like, go on YouTube and find out. It's no secret what actually works and improves things. And you just won't do it. No, these are the kuffar. Like, okay, well, your people are starving, man. Keep your eyes open, David. They are after people like us here in New York City. What? What's going on in New York City, man? Something going on in New York City? It's a super sticker. Thanks for that. If a slave breaks the law, the master is responsible.
Oh yeah, that's a Roman law. Yeah, the master is responsible for what their servant was doing. So it's kind of like similar concept there to the immigration that we were talking about in certain parts of the Middle East.
Here you go. Lesson learned. Letting Catholics vote was a mistake. Don't know if you're serious or not. I'm getting Zakat and Ramadan ads when clicking the stream. Awesome.
Nice.
Ramadan is my favorite month of the year, guys. If you haven't seen me on X in previous years, you'll see why. Fun month. At 24:20 AP Afghan stream, right before the debates, you guys received a super chat asking if you guys liked chicken sandwiches. D. Wood, didn't you say that Speaking Muslim offered you a chicken sandwich? Yes, he did.
Oh, you're saying that's him? He timestamped it for you if you want to go back to it and see if that's Speaking Muslim.
Did you eat it?
That was Speaking Muslim.
Oh, that was Speaking Muslim?
No, I just eaten. They had food back there for the debaters.
No, on the super chat. The super chat.
What about it?
No, I think he's trying to link the question to. Wait, what? I don't get the relationship.
AP Afghan stream.
So someone asked us if we like chicken sandwiches. I don't remember what that was, but I like chicken sandwiches. And then speaking Muslim offered me a chicken sandwich. Yeah, I had just eaten though, so I did not. I would have totally eaten the chicken sandwich if I hadn't just eaten.
Maybe you put something in there.
It's always possible, but sometimes you got to take a risk for a good chicken sandwich. My calendar is marked. If I don't see a video on the Islamic trilemma in the next 30 days, you'll be punished with a $5 reminder. Yeah, we got the trilemma. He pointed out that this could be put as a trilemma, and I said I will make that. That's a good point. All those benefits contribute to government spending, and that increases GDP on paper. This is why the UK started with mass migration.
That's a silly reason.
These numbers are very Islamophobic. Yes, they are. They argue one white woman that scammed 250 million. Oh, I mean, no one's doubting that there are non-Somali scammers and stuff like that. But you're talking about, like, when you're looking at the percentages, it's like disturbingly disproportionate. Mike Winger had similar chart breaking down the different groups in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, and these are the L's, and you'll see, and you got the dwarves.
He's got that board where you can like zoom in on them.
War is deception, encouraged by liberals, snake eating its own tail, all grounded in covetousness. Hey, look what we got here. We got Chris. Salam Amasi. God bless all three of you. I have one question. Who did it, Malik or Speaking and Jake? Yeah, we're going to have to switch it. We've been saying, who did it? But who did this? Malik did this.
It turns out Malik didn't do this.
I mean, Malik was just the voice piece.
It was
for
a
these
puppet
people.
for, and the hand was someone else.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find out more.
We're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Not
Yeah.
the zoot sense, but we're going to get to the bottom of this, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
Malik, I mean, Speaking Muslim already admitted his part, but we're going to see if there's actually credible evidence to, incriminate
Do you
Jake
think
as,
Jake was
Jake
behind
as well.
both? That were both puppets of Jake?
I don't know. I guess we may or may not find out tonight.
All right.
We'll find out eventually. We'll find out. Zoot.
Thank you.
It just says zoot on it. The whole comment is zoot. Yeah, David, thank you for the correction of the autocorrection.
Yeah,
no
values.
problem. It's weird how the religion that is so fixated on building an earthly kingdom is so much worse at it than the religion that is all about the heavenly kingdom.
Good point.
Interesting.
That's funny. Told you it was worth the watch. By the way, can DOC review Lily J vids often? I'm sad to say she is Australian, but show the problem down here too. Maybe ask Lady Logic to jump in too.
Oh, they want to see a woman review of
Oh, I'll do that.
Lily J.
My blood pressure might go through the roof.
Yeah, I think, matter of fact, this needs to be its own show. I talked about there needs to be like a show of just Christian women, but any Muslims can call in. The reason is it has a double impact. So if a group of women refute a Muslim man, one, you refuted his position, but two, it's people who, according to Islam, are intellectually deficient. And so it's extra traumatic. But it would be cool to have like DOC, Lady Logic, L, Hatun, Mary Harp, responding to Lily J's idiotic nonsense.
Imagine getting a whole panel to respond to Lily J.
You only need a half of one of us.
Yeah.
Not even that.
But it'd be fun.
It would be cool. I mean, you guys could have like a whole show and you just play like Lily J short after Lily J short and completely destroy it. People love that. Your thoughts on Junior and Hakikachu beefing?
Are they?
Yeah, so Hakikachu said that he is basically what do they call it when you're trying to bait views?
Rage bait?
Rage bait. Yeah, he called him a rage baiter. He said everyone needs to block him. He's a rage baiter. Because he basically made this viral X tweet that said
Stop, hey, you non-Muslims don't eat around me during Ramadan or something like that.
Yeah. And so Daniel responded to that and he's like, this guy's just rage baiting you all, and they have this big war going on now.
Yeah, guys, you know what rage baiting is? Where you say something, it's going to enrage everyone, but it's going to lead to lots of clicks and comments and stuff like this, and so it actually can help you with the algorithm and stuff.
He's a genius, Junior.
Junior's a tactical genius. Yeah. Absolutely, no one's disputing that. And we need an ebony and ivory vid with Mo and Zoots. That would be good. That's before your times. You guys know the song Ebony and Ivory? Mm-hmm. Ebony and Ivory. the black singer and a white singer singing together.
Ah.
We sing together in perfect harmony. But
Yeah, you and me.
yeah. But interestingly, that would be funny. Even if it's AI, you got Muhammad surrounded by Al-Zut and they're singing Ebony and Ivory, singing together in perfect harmony. It would be pretty base. Has anyone found any footage of Muslims refuting Lily J? I'm sure you could get Jake to contribute. I've seen people commenting on it and saying this is like, yeah. And Junior is so dumb that Daniel thinks he's a plant.
Yep.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's see. So we're going to wrap up now. I'm trying to think what's coming up. I'm guessing tomorrow. If Malik goes live tonight, I'm guessing tomorrow is going to be some Dawah drama.
Yeah.
So we'll have some fun stuff coming up. I keep planning to record a couple of videos, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But going to try and get to that. What do you guys got coming up?
Yeah, we're just testing out different audio things and camera things on the new studio. So we're gonna be doing some tests, but in terms of streams, yeah, basically what you said, we're looking forward for this big expose, Dawah drama stuff, and we're gonna try to tie it in somehow to what they made it easy for us today because they said that they were taught from their
sheikh,
teacher
yeah.
that they're supposed to lie. So that's easy to tie that to Islam, and then we contrast that to what the Lord Jesus says in terms of dealing with people honestly, not to lie, and that we don't have any big secrets. Okay, we don't need to infiltrate us. We preach the gospel. That's what we do. We preach the gospel on stream and off stream. We don't have these like big nuclear secrets that they need to infiltrate our groups and try to I had this dream and now I want to become a Christian and just tell me all your secrets. We don't have secrets. But someone suggested that another angle was, hey, I'm like trying to get like your information, like your phone number, and then these guys' phone number. So that's another thing too.
Yeah, they just want to harm people personally and go after their families and such.
That's another.
But check out our stream because we do go through some Muslim sources for Surah 3 verse 28, which is what they're based this on.
Yeah.
This their deception, trying to harm people and dox people and deceive people. And also other hadiths about war is deception. I think someone said it, war is deception. That's
one
deceit.
of the comments was
That's Muhammad's hadith.
Yep. And then we contrast that with a bunch of passages in the Bible. So
yeah, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. Someone else, where'd it go? Someone put for the video, if we did Muhammad and the Al-Zut singing it, they should be together at the piano. But that would be funny if Lego's vocab at the piano and a bunch of Al-Zut guys all singing together. That would be good. Karen said, have you blocked super chats? I can't send one. Normally, if you're trying to send one and it doesn't work, that's
like your card or something.
Or I mean, the YouTube system, if it is looking for keywords and stuff to not let you send it through if it thinks if it thinks it's offensive or something like that. Is there a PO box for Giant DOC? No, not yet. But you can always contact them through their channel and so on. Spread a rumor Lily J dissed Malik and watch.
No, we can't do that. We can't lie.
No. All right, everyone. What's that?
Someone I was gonna say it wasn't Lily J, but it was actually Aisha, the ex hotel wife of Muhammad Hijab. She actually made a post about something about Malik being also she knew about
She
Malik.
called him Malik Leaks.
Yeah, but she also said that he had she knew about things about him. So I'm thinking whoa. This world is all connected in some weird way where it's
the plot thickens.
They all have so I wonder if she's gonna expose more than just Muhammad Hijab. But,
pray for Aisha, you guys.
Yeah, pray for her. Keep her in
her.
prayers.
She's not in a good place.
Interesting. And here, final comment we got from Isa. He says these da'is need to go back to debate academy. I don't think it's gonna help.
They need
Isa.
something.
They need to go to the Leering Center.
They need to go to prison. Some of them. It's breaking the law to dock.
Yeah.
Bad idea. Bad ideas, everyone. All right. We'll catch you all next time. Should be some good stuff coming up this week. See you then.
God bless.